Straight to you live, straight to you live from CCL Studios. What you know?
Test.
Right.
Right.
Just chopped it.
Yeah. So sometimes I like the headphones, but then other times too, I don't like them. So
Levels is good. Levels are good.
Don, I know you need some.
I'm good.
You know, fast.
Yeah, man, I've been on it. Just trying to break some of this mess.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
I
saying?
need to pass too.
I need to break some of these little habits that I
can't work
have.
with not fast. I gotta like on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like it was hectic just for me not to eat that Sunday morning because I have a Sunday morning breakfast at the same time every Sunday morning. I have to get everything right. I go in my office.
Yeah.
I'm having my little breakfast in the morning before I get back to the sanctuary.
It's a routine. That's nice. That works for you.
Yeah.
And I think when you start breaking those routines, you're just kind of like, whoa, like this is, I'm either out of it or I'm in it. Like I don't.
Right.
Even right now, like.
Oh, here, let's get all this talking on the podcast.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all?
We
good. We straight.
We live.
What good? What's live? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? It's Mike. You already know that's that boy Don over there. It's a long night tonight. We've been having a long night tonight, but we got a special guest treat in the building. We got Mr. Duane Mike. What's your last name?
White.
Duane White Mike.
Yeah.
Tell the people what's good, Mike.
It's Michael Duane White, but I go by Duane. Some people call me Michael Duane. Somebody call me Duane Michael. Whatever you want to go.
White Mike.
But yeah, excuse. We've been working here at the church, hanging this ceiling tile. So if I look dirty, got white black specks on my head, it's all good.
It's great.
We're still in the house of the Lord.
You all straight. Nobody. You all good. But hey, these working men, y'all. Shout out to the janitor team too.
Yeah.
Because literally
Facilities, brother.
Team facilities.
Facilities.
Yeah.
We the
squad.
best.
We the
Come on
best.
now, because if you don't got good facilities, man, there ain't no.
Yeah, I gotta just tell y'all, man. I just told Don, I'm supposed to be his boss, and I told him to stop working. He gonna argue with me about who does that. When the boss tell him you stop working, go home early. He wanna keep on working, man. Him and Mama Tina, they always wanna keep on working. I got the best team ever, man.
Yeah,
for real.
Bless you. Thank you for being the best guy ever.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog.
Yeah.
You ain't
For
even a
real.
boss. You like, a super boss, because you don't boss us around. You just usher us into excellence. And I like that.
Amen. I like
I
that.
appreciate it.
Nice. Well, Duane, Mike, White, let the people know about you. What you want to know, wherever you want to start off at. But then I definitely want to talk about the little skit that you did on Sunday too. But let the people know a little bit about you.
First and foremost, I'm a slave to God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Without him, I'm nothing. And for a long time, I didn't know that was my identity, but now I know that that's my identity. So I stay prayed up.
Yeah, there you go.
And do everything with him. So that's who I am first and foremost. Other than that, I'm a family man. Love spending time with my wife and kids. Just started a new job at TIAA. Took a bunch of tests, Series 6, SIE 63. So I'm a financial consultant.
Nice.
And that's my second job. My first job is here at the church. I started in facilities. I became the facilities manager about 3-4 months ago. Mm-hmm. I love working here. It's peaceful. Never had a bad day working here. Just a lot of love when you work here. So when I come here, I'm not scared to go the extra mile to do the extra hard work. Stay like late tonight because it's what we do. So.
Yeah.
Other than that, I love to, love the outdoors. I love hunting and fishing. And, I do spoken word here at the church, comedy. I'm over the men's ministry also.
Yeah.
And so that's me.
Nice. So hunting and fishing.
Yes, sir.
Why don't black people get into hunting and fishing?
Man, we do the fishing. But we don't do the hunting.
Right.
And, I got hunting pictures in this with my white boy friends.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but I love fishing. My uncle, man, he got Alzheimer's. Uncle Essex, we love you. He's an awesome guy, and man, I really haven't gone since that because my uncle used to took me everywhere, and every time I went out with my uncle, I never caught less than 4 fish, and it went anywhere from 50. Be between 4 and 50 being with him. We went out in Utah, caught so many bluegill and bass. It was ridiculous. Wow. We just caught our limit for the day and would leave, come back the next day. So
you catch it, skin it, clean it, like all that, or you just
no, we just catch them. We freeze them because we had to drive all the way back. And then once we got in his backyard, that's when he would skin them and everything. I just took my bass and he gave me all the bass. We got like 15 bass. I took all the bass, put it in the freezer, and as I thawed them out, then I scaled them and everything. But my uncle, he would sit there in the backyard, literally 75 bluegill, and he would skin them and fillet them and do everything, and then pack them in Ziploc bags, and then thaw them out and fry them and stuff.
That's lit. Yeah. What's your favorite fish to eat, though?
Man, I love the rainbow trout. If you do rainbow trout the right way, I throw it on the grill, wrap it in aluminum foil, put a little olive oil in there, onions, season it real well. Man, smoke rainbow trout on the grill ain't nothing like it.
I feel that.
Because it's got that pink meat.
That's that good.
So good, yeah.
Hit the side of your tongue real.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
it's
that's good.
What you like to eat, Don?
Man, my favorite fish is red snapper.
Really? Yeah, that
red
snapper is good.
Man. I really like red snapper, man. It has a tart, almost tangy type of flavor to it. And I think it reminds me of my mom so much because that was her favorite fish.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad used to go out on the marina in the Bay Area, and they would go out, get a boat, and they'd be out there fishing, man, and they bring back these big old fish, and they got pictures of them fishing. And I mean, now it's just kind of like, when I was young, that was kind of like my lifestyle. That's what I did with my dad. We would go grab a bag. We would go to the discount Hostess store where they get the discount breads.
Yeah.
So we would go grab a loaf of raisin bread and some beef bologna and get out there on the marina, roll up. And you know what? And that's what we was eating for that day. And some sodas.
Yeah.
And then we'd be out there fishing.
All day.
And a lot of times, I mean, we didn't catch a lot because sometimes we'd just be the fishing hole wasn't good. You get these little bullheads, but it was just so much fun just being out there with my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
So I enjoyed that.
Nice.
What about yourself, man? What you eating on, bro?
I like goldfish. The snack. That smile back.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, it's so funny you said goldfish because I was just finna do I was like, you eat the goldfish? I was like, you can't eat it reminded me, I told Apostle Phil that he was like, well, what do you hunt? I go dove hunting. He was like, you kill the doves? I was like, it ain't the white ones.
That's funny. No, I like them salmon steaks. You put me on. So when I went to the H Mart, man, I had a salmon steak. So I like all types of fish, but the salmon steak, I don't know. I made it myself too. I didn't catch it. This is the thing. Look, I think this is the difference between the generation now, or maybe just because I'm scared. I don't like touching no fish if it's moving. The worm, putting a worm on the hook, that junk kind of make me feel good.
That's the fun part about it.
I hear you.
Yeah, man, we do a thread that worm. See, my uncle used to take how you take the head of it, thread it, and then have it dangling over so the fish can't get the whole worm. Yeah.
Those are skills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was passed down from your uncle to you.
Yeah.
But those are actually
how to tie
that
knot on there, how to tie the line so the knot doesn't come out. Yeah. And just when that fish first, you don't start reeling it in, you wait till to get that hook, and when it starts pulling, then you yank it back real quick, let that bad boy in.
Oh yeah.
There's some skills. I mean, my uncle, he was a great fisherman for real.
That's dope. That's dope. And then fishing. Did you fish down here or where'd you grow up in?
I was born and raised here in Colorado.
So You did all that in here,
Yeah,
down here.
I fished growing up. I fished in Louisiana with my moms, but mainly out here. You know, my grandpa used to take us fishing. You know, I have had friends, you know, and throughout the industry, we go out to Horsetooth, Chatfield, Cherry Creek. I've never caught anything at Cherry Creek Reservoir. I don't even think there's fish. I think people throw their own fish and catch them in Cherry Creek Reservoir. I just never caught anything out there. But yeah, I go to Blue, Boyd, you know, you name it. There's so many fish. Lincoln, there's so many fishing spots around town and everything.
Right.
Took my son last year, his first time out, the boy caught 5 fish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he had a big one, like almost that big on the line. But we was fishing over a bank, so once it came out the water, we had to get it like it was like the bank was like 10 feet. Even low, no, about 20 feet, and we had to pull it up, and it broke his line. I was like, man, we should have brought a net because we'd have had that big boy.
You know what? That's the one tool that people fail to bring, but it's the one that's gonna save, so you can get the big fish.
Yeah, big fish.
Because that net, man, that just saves you so much.
You get them as
time
close as you
and
can.
energy.
You get that long net, get them up in there, and get them out.
Yeah.
Once you got that net, you good to go.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I did catch this. We did catch shark when we down
Oh,
to the
wow.
men's trip. Did my pop show you this?
Uh-uh.
The pictures?
Man.
Oh, it's on my phone. I'm gonna show you after. But we caught I caught barracuda. We went down to Florida a year ago on a men's trip. DC. They been DC fishing?
Nuh-uh.
You gotta go. You would love it.
Yeah, that's what I was playing. Every time when I went to Hawaii last, you know, my ex-wife, that's when I went with her. She didn't want to go. We just went scuba diving and stuff like that. But
Nice.
yeah,
That's nice.
I would love to go deep sea.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list.
It's fun.
Yeah, like I want to take that Alaska trip.
Yeah,
And go
that's where I
fishing.
want to go fishing. I want to take Alaska cruise, and then when you touch off in Alaska, get you a Wrangler. Somebody is gonna know where the spots are and take you out. And I want to keep it because I want to catch the fish that day, eat it that afternoon, catch it that morning, eat it that afternoon.
That's lit. That's lit.
Yeah.
You with it, man. You
Yeah.
with all the smoke. I like that.
Yeah.
Hunting too, hunting wise. Because I haven't been hunting, but that's something I feel like I'd want to get into.
Yeah.
What's you catch gamey? Or you
Yeah,
shoot
we do
birds?
migratory birds.
Okay.
So doves, it's the only thing that I've hunted. I had to pull the tag for a deer, but my son's football team went to the championship, so I wasn't able to go. But, you know, we would go clay shooting first to get our skills brushed up and then go out because, you know, the doves move fast and they fly erratic. So you got to be a pretty good shot to bring them down. And especially when the wind picked up, I had to be going 30, 40 miles an hour, and we was trying to hunt them, and they was zipping by. Zoom, 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 zoom. We couldn't catch.
Wow.
We couldn't shoot none of them one day. But we just had fun trying because they was flying by so fast because the wind had picked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we set little decoys. It's September, so it's the first. I think it's the first Monday in September, right after what's Labor Day or Memorial Day?
Yeah, it's Memorial.
We go down there for that week, and you know, once you get that light, September 1st, 6:00 in the morning, we get up, have our little breakfast, and go out there. And then you know, the first time that I went out there, I did like 20 birds.
Oh dang.
Yeah, you know, but my friends, man, you know, they be cheating. They got automatic shotguns, so they can go do. I gotta go. So, but yeah, man, I went for 3 years straight. I haven't gone in the last couple of years, but you know, hoping maybe I can get back this year. I don't know with everything going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there's nothing like it. And what we do is we come back and we eat. We don't just kill birds and that's it. So we eat it, and you just take out the breast. And you take out the breast, and it's funny because it looks like a heart when you take out the breast plates and how it's shaped. And we do an assembly line, and you don't even have to use no knife or nothing. You just take the bird's chest and you split it open, and then you reach underneath it and you pull out the whole breast. And then they had this little bucket where they put a hose on the bottom of it, and it's like a toilet stool, and you drop the breast in there, and it cleans up all the blood and everything out of it. And then, you know, somebody gets the jalapenos, put cream cheese on it, put the dove meat on top, wrap it in. You know, I made them get turkey bacon. They was like, we ain't getting no turkey bacon, so we wrapped it in turkey bacon and bacon.
There we go. Wait, you don't eat pork?
No, I don't eat pork at all.
I think you're the first.
Yeah,
You're the first guest.
Yeah.
You're the first guest we had.
No, I don't eat no swine at all. It's the no swine zone. Yeah, but we and you know, we sit around the campfire. We would argue over, you know, every year we had the same conversation. Who's better, Kobe versus Jordan?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big Kobe fan, so
Okay.
I tell everybody Kobe's. And my friend is the guy named Justin Wisenant. He was a big Jordan and Tiger Woods fan, so he would always talk about that. But you know, it's great times because we would be at his friend's house. But, you know, the wife and kids would be inside, but he had this big side to the house. So we would just pull we had a pop-up camper, and Nick and them would pull up their camper, and the other guy, we call him Details, because he's just, as far as hunting, everything details, how to clean your guns and everything. He was always detailed. So I call him Detail, and he, you know, he would pull his big camper up, and then we make a fire pit, and we just sit around the fire for the rest of the night, go to bed, get up early in the morning, do it again.
Nice.
That's good times.
Yeah, real good times.
That's see, and when you get away from the city like that,
Yeah,
you can really feel your whole body just decompress.
Yeah.
And like everything just kind of, like after that first night,
yeah.
sleeping outdoors or in a tent or out in the camper, you're just like,
See, and we call it we call it rednecking. I was like, let's go get a redneck on.
period.
And then we would shoot, like they brought this metal target one year, and they surprised me. And they took a mannequin head and put this ferrite on the mannequin head, right? And they put the mannequin head about like 150,
That explode.
yeah,
Right?
150, 200 yards out. And I didn't know what it had on it. So, you know, they gave me I had the rifle. And, you know, I'm a pretty good shot. So I just first shot, boom, and the whole boom. It was just like, I was like, wow. And so, you know, be out there, and then we put a target like 500 yards out. And it's nothing like when you shoot it, pow, bing, pow, bing, and you see it hit. And we was all hitting the target. Now I don't know if we was hitting the bull. We wasn't hitting the bullseye, but you know, I'm a pretty good shot, 500 yards out, and can hit it. So yeah,
I like 500 miles, boy.
Yeah,
You was cool. You well. That was
500
super
yards.
shot. That's nice.
yeah,
though.
but 500 yards out, yeah.
What type of round are you shooting at that distance?
You know what? We had 30-06s. One had a 17 millimeter, just different type of guns.
Yeah.
We had an AR-14. We would shoot just all different types of guns,
That's
man.
fun. That's
Red
fun.
Naked.
That's fun when you got like a whole different line of guns that
Yeah.
you can shoot, because you can really fill out each one of them. Get used
And
to
everybody's good. Then we go to the clay. You know, if you ever went shotgun shooting with clay, if you haven't done it,
No,
it's
I
so
have
fun.
not.
And you have all kind of. You have the ones that mid range, the ones that goes high. They even have the rabbit clay that they shoot it out and it bounces on like a rabbit wood on the ground, and you got to try to shoot it. So you know, and they be coming out all different type of ways. If you go to the building, they be shooting out, and you just gotta be on your P's and Q's when it comes out to get them.
Wow.
So yeah, man, it's fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big outdoors. I love the outdoors, ATV and all that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
love
Word,
it, man.
word. Oh,
Yeah.
that's lit. I
That's
like
cool.
that.
Have you
Yeah.
ever been bow shooting, like with the
No, I
crossbows
want
and
to.
stuff? That's
I've
so
been with
cool.
people who have done it, but I've never shot a crossbow. But that's what I want to do now. I kind of was thinking like, okay, let me get away from the game and make it more skillful. So that's what I might take up, later on. Once we get through this financial thing we going through right now, man, it's gonna be on back in the great
jump
outdoors.
back in.
Because my family loves it. I took my wife, and then we hired a wrangler and went fly fishing for the first time.
Oh wow!
Took my wife and kids out there. I just love doing the outdoors.
That's
A lot of
cool.
people will go spend like $200 to go to Disney World or go to Elogis, but they won't go spend $200-$400 to go on an ATV ride. To me, that's way more exciting than any. You ain't got to wait in line for a bunch of people. You pay your money. You on a trail with your family. You out there in nature. And I mean, and it's God's beauty, man. Yeah, so you're out there with that, not some man-made contraption that's all commercialized concrete, and all they trying to do is get all your money.
Yeah.
Like, man, amusement parks is just. I was telling my son, y'all kind of young because y'all ain't been to Elages. See, y'all go to Elages downtown. That's not the original Elages. The original Elages was off by 38th. And when we used to go to Elages, it had a big, like I won't say wooded, but a nice park area and trees and shade. And they used to let you bring your food into Elages for your family. So you have, all your lunch and stuff. So you go get on the rides and come back, and mom tell everybody come in, and you come back and you eat your lunch, and then you go back and get on the rides.
Yeah.
And you can get on the rides multiple times a day. It's just not 1 or 2, 3 rides. You spend 8 hours in an amusement park and you get on 3 rides. I mean, it's ridiculous nowadays.
Yeah, that's tough.
But like, I like just the old school type of thing. So wildlife, like you can go fishing, you can go swimming, do the great outdoors, hiking, look at that beauty. There's so much to do out there. Snowmobiling. If you never, I've been snowmobiling. There's so much.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I haven't snowmobiled. You know what?
Snowshoeing and snowmobiling.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I only been snowboarding. That's it. And snowboarding was fun.
Yeah.
That's a fun time.
Yeah.
I got it.
You ever been skiing?
Skiing that just look kind of tough.
Hey.
Man, I was gonna go skiing once, and then right before I went, Sonny Bono went down that hill, and they said he hit a tree and he passed. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
That's because he was going like this down the mountain, and skiing to me is a lot harder. And I've skate like really good, but to me, when you get on that mountain, you go down that slope, it's like if you go straight, you gonna go straight, and you be zipping down that mountain for real. So snowboarding for me, you got more body control because I skateboard, skate, like rollerblade. Like I'm that type of outdoor guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy that gonna put the worm through the hood. I'm gonna get out there with it.
He said skateboard beat.
You know what?
I'm saying.
I can't skate to save my life. I used to be at Skate City, that red carpet. I be peeling on the red carpet trying to stay up. I can't skate for my life, man.
Yeah, that's me too. I cannot skate.
That's funny. But I gotta definitely, if you got another trip planned out, let us know. That I don't know about you. That just sounds fun. I love doing
it's fun. Out. And then, it's about gun control. We all had to get our hunter safeties license. Yeah. I got it in my wallet right now. Yeah. We go to it's an 8-hour class during the day. Get your hunter safety license. Mm-hmm. We practice really safe gun control. Yeah. We don't, when you hunt and you walking next to your barrel's facing this way, their barrel's facing that way. And that's very important. We don't go out there drinking like some people be drinking while they're hunting, and we don't do anything. If you're safe, and it makes it a lot fun because you're safe and everybody can come home at night.
Yeah, and you can trust the people that are around.
My friend, he had his son would go hunting with us. His son at the time was 7 or 8.
Yeah, they do.
And that little boy know how to handle that shotgun. But I wouldn't let my son go. I took my son to the hunter safety. He had the gun everywhere. He just wasn't ready for it. But it was because his mom, I was trying to teach him how to start using guns at 5. And his mom had a big uproar about it. So I didn't get to teach him about guns the way I grew up with him. So
yeah, that's something is that this next generation, they're either going to embrace guns or they're going to totally be afraid of them.
See, here's the thing that we don't teach our kids. Like a lot of kids like those accidental shootings because you don't let your kids know that that's a real thing. Yeah. Kids watch TV. See, if you take your kids, like my son was 6 years old. He went out to a range we had at my dad's place. My dad got 40 acres out in Colorado City, and we was at a target practice. So I let him shoot a little rifle, and he was able to shoot the clay. and he seen how that bullet hit that clay and totally dismantled it and obliterated it. So he seen that he was like, wow, Dad, that's really strong. And I told him, never point a gun in your face, son, never. And I taught that since he was little. What do you do if you see a gun just laying around you at one of your friend's house? I go tell an adult, Dad, call you and do that. You got to teach your kids and tell them about gun safety and about what to do with those weapons, and let them know that the weapons are dangerous, and let them know how to handle the weapon. If they know how to handle the weapon and they know how dangerous it is, then the kid's not going to be curious and go pick it up because he knows what it truly can do. Right. But if you just let them go off the movies and everything, and they're seeing in the movies and seeing in the cartoon somebody get shot and live, and then you're not teaching them, then they're not going to have that understanding of how powerful that weapon truly is.
That's it. That's it. It's like, you teach your kids how to use a stove. They don't just put their hand on the stove.
Because they know it's hot.
They know it's hot.
So you got to show them the gun's hot too.
Gun hot.
Yeah.
Really hot.
Yeah.
And going to like that topic of teaching your kids the importance of control. And then you also said too, like, we don't drink when we shoot guns and do our hunting, stuff like that. What has pivoting back to the situation of like, what made you want to quit the alcoholism?
Well, it's God did. When I had to get healing to get to that point. Right. I can't join CCF. I did a couple sessions with Apostle Phil. Then little Pastor K, I started doing sessions with her. I took this class called Victory Over Darkness. That was the first CVTS class that I ever took. And I just got lit from there because I realized I needed healing. And Apostle Phil kind of gave it a spark in this class. And then I went counseling with Pastor K. And she peeled off so much. So many things I've been holding in since I was a child that I didn't even know about. And I was just able to just come from there. And from there, I went on to the pastoral counseling class. I found out I was verbally abusive to my wife. I would curse her and all kind of things. And I had to, get healing and move on from doing that. Then after that, I found out I was addicted to, I knew I was addicted to porn. And it took me 2 years to go to somebody and reach out for help for my addiction to porn. I reached out to, Dwight's wife. Eleanor. Yeah. Ooh, Eleanor. I'm sorry.
Shout out Eleanor.
But she introduced me to Dwight, and I got from there. And then, so the next obvious thing was, my alcohol. I wasn't a drunk. Like everybody said, oh, I'm not a drunk. I'm not that. But when I would drink, I was short fuse. I was get quick to anger, get mad, say things that I regret the next day or sometimes didn't remember it. And just because I came home and had drinks after work and stuff like that, and then I would leave from doing this job, like if I was still drinking, I'll hit that liquor store right there on the corner and then go home and have my drink. Yeah. So the Lord just like, okay, when I started the ordination, he was like, okay, I went for like this, and he's like, okay, enough is enough. And if you're going to, you can't be a pastor and keep drinking. It's just not. So I had to really listen to him. I heard his voice. I knew it was him talking. And, me and Jason started talking about it. And at first when we started talking, we was talking about our favorite whiskeys and how good whiskey is and how we were whiskey connoisseurs. I love my Jim Beam Black. Yeah. We were literally talking about it, how we like it in the glass and everything like that. And then it got to, we come in on the Sundays and I'd be like, man, I want to quit. So I'm going to try to, so we would try to quit and we would be unsuccessful, Yeah. And then we would come confess, man, I made it 5 days and then I got a drink or I got frustrated with this. And then for some reason, within 4 days of each other, that's when God clicked it with both of us. And we found out that we was on that journey and we knew it was real when we said it this time that it was going to be real. And so mine was, Pastor Jonell, I had a birthday party. He let me have a birthday party. I threw myself a birthday party at his house. I kind of volunteered, told him, Pastor Jonell, I'm having a birthday at your house. Great. Pastor Jonell, I never thought that I would have my best friend would be a pastor. If you told me that, I'd have ran from that. My best friend's a pastor. Somebody gonna hold me accountable. Somebody I can't cuss around. Somebody I can't do that. But
shout out Pastor John Dill.
Yeah. But it just ended up after I had the Lord was like, did you really need to drink at his house that day? And I was like, no. And I still drunk. It was on the 3rd. I drunk for July 4th. But then after that, I quit. So July 5th was my first sobriety day. And this is actually my second birthday because my birthday was July 8th of last year to this year. So I had 2 birthdays sober. So it was just the Lord just moving and telling me and really being obedient and being like, because, some pastors, you can drink. It doesn't say you can't. The Bible doesn't say that you can't drink. It's everything in moderation. But God wasn't moderation for me. God just wanted me completely quit. And I like it because I'm not as quick to anger. I even talk softer to my wife. And really my mouth is, like I told y'all, my mouth, I still got to control that because can't nobody quite get under my skin. Like, your wife, you live with that person family. Every day. Yeah, and so I'm still a work in progress, still growing, but God gives me grace and I just walk through it. Yeah. And so it just really set me up. And, as Keith, the 5280 high school that I said, we went and got him off the street 6 years ago on Colfax. Wow. And he was out there slanging for the dope man and doing all kind of stuff. We went and got him. He didn't come with us that day, but 2 weeks he came in. We threw him a party, bought him a bunch of clothes. He went to the Salvation Army for 6 months. He sobered up. And his obedience to God, look at this, y'all. He sobered up. So we was from collection. So he was working at a collection agency and he had a chance to become a manager at the collection agency. But he had been doing so much work for Alcoholic Anonymous and Cocaine Anonymous that a lady started the school 5280. It was her dream because a little 16-year-old boy, she asked him, was you able to beat heroin by yourself at 16? He said, I had to leave the high school to do it. So she said it shouldn't be that way. So she started 5280 high school, and lo and behold, she gave Keith the offer. He called me up, and he was like, man, do I take the collection job? Because he was leaning toward it. I was like, man, you better go follow what God has you to do. Right. I say, that's God talking right there. Right. And he's been at it 6 years, and he helps those kids and everything. So him and those kids at 5280 was also my inspiration. Because I was like, these high school students are doing it, but that's when I was still going back and forth struggling with drinking before I finally made the commitment. And that's what got me to do through it. So it's Jason, my Keith, the pastoral counseling classes, ordination classes, CVTS. If you really put in the work and really partner with Jesus to do the things that you need to do in your life, this is a great church that really does healing and deliverance. They don't talk about it. They are about it. But you have to be about it also. Because a lot of people want to come to the church. They're going through struggles in their life. They want to go up and give their life to Christ, and they think that's when the change comes. That's just the first step.
That's when the struggle comes.
That's when the struggle comes. That's when everything gets. You got so much more that you got to do. Right. There's so much work you got to. The hardest thing for any Christian to do, and the reason why people struggle is because you got to take a look at yourself. It's way easier to see what everybody else is doing wrong. But when you got to turn inwardly and you got to look at yourself, man, that's where the work comes. Right. Because you find that you're ugly. Yeah. And you have an ugly heart. Yeah. And you find the things that are, because if you really look, you ain't all you cracked up to be. Say that. Man, and you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah. Right. And that's when the change start coming, because then you got to go to God. God, I ain't all I'm cracked up to be. I'm ugly, Lord. Why do you, Lord? And the Lord still, and then the Lord still love you and accept you. So that's and it's not the change because you're trying to get anything. It's the change because you want to serve him and you want to do right for him. So how can you do that in the state that you're in? Yeah. So you gotta make the changes so you can do what he did for you through other people, so you can do that for other people.
Yeah. What pleases God.
Yeah. And then that's where it comes from. And then it's still a process and you keep going. See, Christians, the reason why we're so notorious in the world is because we're such hypocrites. Because we come around and we do all the things that we think are like, we go to church every Sunday and we think that's make us better. But when we're out in the world, we're doing the same thing as everybody else in the world. And we can be going to church every Sunday for our whole life and still not truly be saved, still not really know Christ. Yeah. Because you have to know him in your heart. So you can go to your church life and I feel you can even accept Jesus Christ, but have you truly accepted him?
Have you made him?
Have you made him your Lord? Right. Have you really accepted him in your heart? Because he's going to know. Because he's the only one who knows who's faking, who's fronting, and who's doing it for real. Right. And so we have to check ourselves. Stop worrying about what everybody else doing. Yeah. Focus on what you're doing. Right. Focus on how to get yourself right. Then once you start getting yourself right, then you try to help other people, but you don't go pointing fingers and talking about what everybody else is doing wrong. Right. That's right. So
that's what you said. The finger pointing. Three more pointing
back at you. Mm-hmm. And so once I did that, then my relationship with Christ just took off. Wow. And where it's going from here, only he knows. But he's got me the job that I've always wanted. Financial consultant. Didn't go to college, didn't do anything. And I already know I'm going to do great things here because he's on my back. Yeah. Like Don, I'm joking with every time I'm getting ready to pass a test, I joke with them like I didn't pass a test. You know how much pressure that is? Because then everybody was going to be like, especially they know you're a man of God and everything. Oh, well, God didn't help you this time. People are going to say that. But it became a joking thing that I would try to trick them like I didn't pass a test somehow. Yeah. And then that was my little niche, but they kind of loved that out of me. And, so I'm just being who I am, the man in Christ at this new job, showing who I am, keeping Jesus ahead of everything, and just doing what I got to do. And that's and if y'all look, sobriety, we're talking about physical sobriety, but there's another sobriety. And that scripture that I quoted, 1 Thessalonians, therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but watch and be sober. For those who sleep at night, and those who get drunk at night. So let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of love and faith, and as a helmet, hope and salvation. So when they're talking about those who sleep at night, they're not talking about the physical night. They're talking about the spiritual darkness.
So when they go to sleep, when it starts to get like they just like not in tune, they're not
seeing the Lord. They're blind to what's going on around, and they're blind spiritually, or they're drunk spiritually. And some people say we're spiritually drunk, but in that scripture means like you're not seeing the Lord. So let us be of the day. What's of the day? The light of Jesus. Let us be of the day. Be on the watch and be of the day. So I read that scripture, then I looked at the commentary for it, and I was like, wow, because it's still talking about the breastplate, the armor of God, but it's just talking about the breastplate and the helmet, but it's talking about being watchful, because that's the schemes of the enemy. And you could be spiritually, it elicits all different kind of ways where you can be spiritually dead and just not be awake in darkness. And spiritual darkness. Right. And so that's what that whole thing meant. So that's being up sober. It's also being alive and awake in Christ in your mind. So it's not just a physical sobriety, it's a spiritual sobriety. And that's having a relationship with Christ.
Right.
Because if you're not spiritually sober, you're not going to know Christ.
Right.
So.
Quick, swinging that back, unless you got something, because so going back to the whole sobriety and the whole thing of like 5280, I want to get back on that. Because I didn't know. I think I've heard about it a little bit. Can you explain what 5280 is? And then also, too, the whole sobriety thing, seeing people that's younger than you, that's working on their sobriety, and that inspiring you to like, okay, so, I got to put the bootstraps together and figure this out for myself.
So I was introduced to 5280 about when Keith first went to the school. So I think he's been there like maybe 3 or 4 years now.
Okay. And it's a school?
Yeah, it's a high school.
Okay.
It's an alternative high school.
Wow.
So I just recently did an event. The men's ministry did that event, and we partnered and let some ladies come in with us too. And when I went up there to the school the first time just to visit Keith and see what the school was all about, I was stunned that these are teenagers. Do you guys know how brave you have to be to say, I'm going to leave the status quo? Because you know teenagers want to do what more than anything? Fit in. I'm going to leave the status quo. I'm not going to do drugs, not going to do all that. I'm taking myself away from this, and I'm going to go over to this high school, and I'm going to be sober. It's a brave thing to do. And I had to do something to honor them because God just pulled on me. And the first time I presented, I sent a text message. I was out of order, and I got crickets. But God, I was like, well, Lord, why don't you want me to do this and everything? 3 months later, Pastor Jonell asked me to take over the men's ministry. And he was like, you could do an event. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, I'm going to do this event. Now I got the right platform, everything. So we went to that school, man, and all the people like Judge Tanya Thompson went, Russ, I mean, just so many people, Pastor Jonell, JP, Mike, your dad went, just Eleanor, Dwight, just everybody, man. So many people showed up and helped me out. And what we really found out that them kids were ministering to us because they showed us. Now, these kids was dressed like punk rockers, nose rings, every stereotype that you can think, the little black girl, spandex on, you know, every stereotype that you can think to put a label on the kids, they on the surface, they were. But what we miss out is if you seen one of the kids walking down the street, you wouldn't know that's a kid that's all about sobriety. You would think they were on drugs and caught up in something. So that's why you can't judge a book by those covers. And that's a brave act to go to the school. And it's real relaxed. They got laptops, leather lounging chairs, different sections around it. It's not like a normal school at all. But they have normal school curriculum. But then they have outside they have to learn the basics to pass the test. But then they have all kind of like, they was doing clay animation on their computers. They had, we was able to walk around and see all they did. They had a fashion show. They make their own clothes. Nice. The clay animation, you know how long it takes to do clay animation, to be that focused and move that along and do things of that. So they had all kind of art that was hanging up a wall. Like Lisa, the photographer, she was like, this is like being in a museum. That's how talented the kids were. And they had the different rooms you go in and different pictures and all kind of different awareness around everywhere. And that's what school is supposed to be. Not the desk, teacher, blah, 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 wah, 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 all that. And these kids, it felt so good to be there with them. And then we didn't have much money. We gathered money and we got them watches, smart watches, a couple drones, some earbuds, a couple sound bars. And it wasn't really expensive stuff, but they loved the fact, because I was like, I just don't want to go and say, hey, good job, guys, what you're doing. Let's treat them to something. So we wasn't able to give it to everybody, but we did a little auction raffle tickets and the kids got prizes. And it was a great time. They kept on coming out. Why are y'all cooking for us? Why are y'all barbecuing? Because you're special. Because what you're doing is awesome. And I was able to get them a speech. I said, you guys are like, what's the two guys? I knew their names at the time that wouldn't blaze the West before anybody. The two frontier man. You know who I'm
Cowboys?
talking. No, man.
I'm young,
you know who I'm talking about. That, you know, before the everybody that blazed the trail that everybody followed when they went to the West and everything like that. Their name will come to me, but I told them they're like them. That this is a new trail that they're blazing. He said Django. Did he really say Django? But he really. But they blazed that trail, man.
That's dope.
And because it's the only school like that in Colorado. Now there's a few throughout the United States, but it's only a handful.
Yeah,
wow,
that's nice.
Sobriety High School.
Yeah, Sobriety High School.
I like that. Man, shout out to 5280 and all the people that's doing the work that they do for the kids, and shout out the kids too, because that's great to hear that people are actually doing the work inside themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say too, if you can wrap it up pretty soon. But I always say that's why we got that dollar right there, because we want people to keep it a buck, no matter how dirty, how clean, how messed up. $1 is $1. Keep it 100,000 with us. So we appreciate your time, and like we appreciate you for just stepping up in here. And if there's anything that you want to end it on, what would you want to let the people know out there?
I just want to let people know that, you know, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, He's real. And when you're going through all kind of things in your life, whatever it is, addiction, sexual addiction, alcohol addiction, money addiction, spending addiction, gambling addiction, whatever kind of addiction it is, when you're sad in your home, sadness addiction, when you just know, some people love to hurt, you know, whatever you're going through, you tried a lot. You tried every remedy to fulfill it. Try Jesus. I try to fulfill it by pleasing a lot of people in my life. I try to be what everybody else wanted me to be. And when I tried Jesus, for the first time in my life, I'm who I'm supposed to be, who He wanted me to be. And if you want to just be who you are and don't have to put on the fronts and be what everybody else think you are, that's the acceptance that you get from Christ. He loves you for who you are and what you are, not for all those other things that the world tells you that they'll love you for. Because the world will build you up and they will tear you down. But Christ just keeps building you up. So if you tried all those things, you've been out there, you're living your life a certain way, and you tried all those things, just try Jesus. I guarantee you won't go back. Now, once you try Him and you get your salvation, you're saved. If He's truly in your heart, you're saved. But then that's not going to mean that it's going to get worse, because now the enemy sees you. And then once you start doing the work of Christ, the enemy's going to see you even more. The thing is, the attacks don't lessen. You just know how to deal with them better because you become spiritually mature. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. You're still going to be under attack. There's still going to be sadness in your life, but you're going to handle all those situations. You're going to be happy because you know you got Christ and you know He can pull you through all these things. Right. And so your happiness is in Him. It's not in your husband. It's not in your wife. It's not in your friends or anything else that you rely out in the world for happiness. Money, TV, cars, clothes, all those things, jewelry, all those things. That's not the true happiness. That's right. You can suffer and be going through a tragedy and still have happiness. And you know who shows that more than anybody that I admire? Shout out to my boy Renee. Renee, with his situation with his wife, he smiles. He stays in church. Most people pull away and, all of a sudden, church is not important. but he goes to all the classes with us. He does all those things because he has a true love for Christ, and Christ, he knows he truly loves him. And you know, his wife was out and about. He had her in a wheelchair. They went out and got some sun and everything. Where everybody else around you says what she ain't gonna never do again, all the prayers and everything, we know what our God will do. And I look up to that brother so much, because that shows you right there, to have your wife get sick and ill and you don't know what's going on with her, but you keep the faith in God, you keep coming to church, you keep loving people, showing people, you don't let the enemy tear you away from your ordination. Man, much shout out to that brother.
Yeah.
So I'll end it on that note. Yo, Renee, love you, brother. What a mighty man of God you are.
Amen, bro. Agreed.
Amen.